Lifestyle. Today is Monday, December 15th, 2014. And I just returned back from the doctor. I scheduled an appointment to get a blood draw to get my thyroid levels checked as 6 months ago. Right before I went to Arizona, they were showing that I was really low thyroid again, and they recommended I go on like 150, 200 micrograms of the Synthroid generic levothyroxine. However, I decided to forego that med and not take it because I was going to do my diet 100% and I was going to try to make dietary changes that would influence hopefully my immune system to stop attacking itself, because Hashimoto'S thyroiditis is a lot different than just regular low thyroid. So I was trying to address the immune system problem. However, since I haven't been 100% perfect with my diet until more recently, I am now doing things 100% the right way, because a lot of the factors that help me kind of get off path a little easier, I have kind of overcome and dealt with some of those issues. Nonetheless, I wanted to talk to you more so about my experience with the doctors, and this is just a reflection of that. He had asked about my diet and a couple other things, because my weight is the same as it was 6 months ago. I've kind of, yo-yoed and went up and down here and there, but ultimately I'm where I was 6 months ago. So I'm gaining weight, which is awesome, especially with the low thyroid issue. What I wanted to talk about today is things the doctors say. I don't know what to call it, but he was asking me about my diet, so I told him that I was mostly raw and 100% vegan. I'm having cooked veggies and rice on a rare occasion, and it doesn't agree well with me at all. But if that keeps me vegan, then that's what I want to do. And 100% gluten-free. Definitely, I know for me, with experience especially, that gluten is a huge variable in the inflammatory process. Gluten for me is a huge trigger for the, it just makes my thyroid symptoms a lot worse, at the very least. And it probably helps attack the thyroid as well, as what I've been reading. But, he's asking about that, and he said, a person that's completely healthy, no Hashimoto's, no thyroid problem or anything, he really was very supportive of that diet to any individual at all, sick or well. So he was very supportive of the diet. However, he was very adamant in dietary change alone will not help your condition or any condition. And he was just so matter of fact about it. And I said, well, because, I told him that I didn't take the meds and that I wanted my levels tested again, because I kind of want to see where they're at. I know, I'm hoping they're better. I know they're not perfect, just because I'm still symptomatic, but definitely diet influences my symptoms, whether it makes them worse or better. So I know that from experience, and gluten especially. So I told him, I said, I'm just trying to do the gluten-free, and he said, he kind of like laughed. He's like, gluten isn't going to make it worse. Nothing's going to make it worse. It's just one of those things. He said, kind of like type 1 diabetes. He said, when, the pancreas just isn't making those cells, it just isn't. There's nothing that can just jumpstart it to do that. He compared Hashimoto's autoimmune thyroiditis to something that you pretty much are destined to have, genetically. In type 1 diabetes, it's just kind of like certain. With Hashimoto's, in my experience, in my education as a nurse and what I've researched, is that it's just one of those things that can turn on. It's kind of like you have the genes for it, and if the environment's right and the stress and all that, then it can turn these genes on, and you develop this condition. I've read a lot about people being in remission, and they say they're cured. Other people say, oh, you're just in remission. Whatever word you want to use, it's all linked to dietary. These people are off their meds, and it's because of dietary changes. Somebody with heart disease, may be asymptomatic until it's too late and they have a heart attack. For me with Hashimoto's, and my experience is I am symptomatic during eating certain ways. And that's why I appreciate the ups and downs that I've had, and I'm so grateful that I'm really lasered in and focused on what I'm doing right now. Definitely ready to do another juice fast. I did a 10-day that I wanted to do 20-day, but just with the finals and with the classes and the tests and everything that I was in, I was detoxing so hard, so quick, that the brain fog was just like, I don't know, it was out of control, and I just really needed like my mind as much of it that I can have, because I'm still suffering a lot from brain fog, but it's gotten quite a bit better just through dietary changes. But yeah, he was so matter of fact about it, and I'm to the point now where I've done so much research and I've had so much personal experience that I know better, but it's just kind of sad because he didn't know. You know, just like my instructor was talking about certain, you know, transdermal patches and such, and he had no idea that vitamin D patches existed. So you can't really get mad at them because they're preaching what they know. They're just at where they're at in their life and in their practice, in their education or knowledge, and so they're just kind of telling you what they know. But being so matter of fact about it, had I not been, have I not been in this place that I am right now, in the education and the research and the personal experience again that I said that I have, I probably wouldn't have changed diet. Oh, the doctor says, you know, he was very adamant. He was very, very convinced that diet, and I like him. I like him a lot. I drove, you know, since I moved almost an hour away from him, I drove all the way to see him. He's a DO. He's open-minded. You know, he likes to hear people's experiences, but he still has his doctor hat on. So he's the authority, you know, no matter what. And so I appreciate a lot about him, but I was just disturbed about his so matter-of-factness, especially when I read over and over and over other people's experiences, my own personal experience with it. The more clean I eat, and if I were to go back to like a gluten item or even meat or something, I know now how it affects me. I feel the effects, and I don't want to go back to that point. And then just in nursing school too, you know, I was taking care of a patient that was post-op knee surgery. I bandaged him up, changed his bandage, everything was good to go. And then I went out to where the charting is in the computers, and I was doing all my charting, and the doctor had made a phone call, and I overheard this phone call, and he goes, yeah, he's doing great with his knee surgery, everything's fine, he's out, you know, he's this, he's that, but he's complaining about his gallbladder. Just, you know, it's just kind of bothering him. This is the way the doctor talked on the phone to this person's family. It's just kind of bothering him, so I thought I'd let you know that we're just going to go ahead and take that out. And like, that was it. And no, I haven't talked to him about it yet. I kind of wanted just to give you guys a heads up. So then he walks in and he's like, yeah, your gallbladder's bothering you. We're just going to go ahead and give you more surgery right after you've had surgery? Are you kidding me? So I'm not, you know, doubting the medical field at all. I'm in the medical field. I'm an LPN going on for my RN, but I'm not going to take part in putting band-aids on people. I really don't want to give people meds that don't need them. I want to help people get off meds, and I'm not being stubborn or hard-headed about just, I don't want to go on this med. I know what the med has done to me. I know the effects of it. I felt it, and it is a band-aid. And if it comes to a point where I slow down so much that I'm almost comatose, where I was a couple years ago, then I will take it. But in reality, the medical system isn't there for things that we can treat ourselves through knowledge and just lifestyle change. You know, there's so much that we have the power to control, and I just want people to be inspired and motivated to be your own advocate, be your own health advocate. Even people that aren't even trying to make lifestyle changes, just research what you can. Don't just take the doctor's word for it. You know, they're not God, they're not know-all. They're only where they're at in their life, in their path, in their knowledge, and they share that with you. But for a person to be so adamant and so matter-of-fact that diet has absolutely no influence on the Hashimoto's disease is just completely a lie. It's just, it's a very uncomfortable feeling, because I know better just from personal experience. You know, forget everything about I've talked to other people and I've read, and I just know better from my own experience. And so I guess this is just a rant video about the way that doctors are and the way that we view them. I'm not saying don't trust the doctor. I'm not saying anything. I'm just ranting, I guess. But I just feel like people look at doctors as too much of an authority when they don't know better. It's not that they don't want to, because like I said, my doctor's very open-minded, but he still had his doctor hat and he was still the authority, and that's the way people look at him and treat them, and that's their position. But we've got to be our own health advocate. We just have to. You know, research into vaccines, research into a procedure you're about to have. I read over and over and over about these people that have their thyroids taken out. I am so grateful and so blessed to have all my pieces and parts. I've had my wisdom teeth taken out, and that was way before I even knew any better. But you know what? Honestly, I was that person in the doctor's office just a few short years ago, listening to them as they are the authority. Whatever you say, doctor, you know best, you know. I'll follow you, anything that you say, you know, type of thing. And then, you know, I started researching because the doctors weren't helping me in my conditions anymore. I had to find a different way because they're like, we don't know what to do with your PCOS. There's nothing we can do for you. And they had talked about surgery with the thyroid, but it's not happening. I feel for people who don't know there's another way, and sometimes there's not. Sometimes you need, if you know, have an issue that you don't have time to clean out and to save your life, you need to cut it out now. I understand, you know, you are where you need to be, and that's you know what needs to happen. But for many that do get things cut out, there are alternatives. And so I just hope people are inspired just to do your research and be your own health advocate. I guess I just wanted to talk about my experience today at the doctor's. It was definitely enlightening. It was an eye-opener. Every experience, every minute that I have is a learning lesson for me, good or bad. And so as soon as I get the results, the next video I will do is the Hashimoto'S. I'll just kind of do like a background of it and an update where my levels are, what I've done with diet, things that have helped or haven't helped. And so stay tuned for that video if you guys are interested in that. I don't know if anybody got anything out of this, but please leave a comment about your doctor's appointment visits, or good, bad, or ugly. You know, what experiences have you had? What have you learned from it? You know, what have you taken home from certain experiences at the doctor's, and just doing your own research. So leave me a comment, let me know if you guys kind of have experienced the same way, where, you know, the doctor's telling you one thing, but you know in your heart or with your own experience that they're way off. You know, how do you handle it? Do you find a new doctor? I just went in because right now I have insurance, and I knew I could have the blood work done, and I was curious, so I went ahead and did it. So that's the only reason I went in, just to get my blood done, and I'll keep you guys posted on what happens from here. So take care, everybody, and until later.